finally we come to River Spring. 15 years ago it was one of the region's most flourishing towns. But things slowly worsened, and today River Spring knows only idle craftsmen and discontent among the peasants. And the death of Lord Reynold Sarwyck will not improve matters. That said, his death didn't surprise many people. The poor man was but a shadow of his former self since the disappearance of his eldest son. They say that his daughter is the one who makes decisions since then, and you can see where that has led.
River Spring. It is much changed.
Have you been here before?
I used to live in River Spring. I left 15 years ago.
Yes, that was a while ago. Back then, the town was still prosperous.
What happened?
I don't know the details, but I think it had something to do with the eldest Sarwyck boy leaving.
I must go to the castle.
Oh? And, if I may ask, what would a red priest like you be doing here?
I am here for the burial ceremony. I am the son of Reynold Sarwyck.
How so? You're much too old to be Gawain Sarwyck.
Gawain is my young brother. I am the elder, Alester.
Father above? After so long? We thought you had disappeared. My sympathies for your father. I did not recognize you.
My god R'hllor now watches over him. Thank you for the crossing, ferryman.
Things have gone from bad to worse. No more travelers, almost no boats. And what is a river town without merchant ships? It is a dying town. River Spring is dying. You, Aubrey, it's been weeks. With things as they are, what choice do we have?
If things are so bad, what do you propose to do?
It's been too hard for too long. It's time to revolt. We must take matters into our own hands. We'll take up arms.
If you follow that path, the army will have no choice but to fight against you. Do you want this to end in blood and tears?
You don't know what you're talking about, stranger. The house is dying. The army of River Spring is but a shadow of what it was. You obviously know nothing of the misery we suffer here.
That may be, but I do know that violence is answered with more violence. This path never ends well.
We're already suffering. What is it to us if we die of hunger or by a sword?
What has happened here? These lands were once thriving.
It's the Lords. It's been too long since they cared about what happens in their own lands. Neighboring lords have taken the chance to grab some of our land, and nothing is done to stop it. And now that Lord Sarwyck is dead, it will only get worse. We must do something.
But there are still Sarwicks in River Spring.
Don't make me laugh. The eldest fled years ago. As for the others, they're no better than he. Anyway, this concerns only the people of River Spring, stranger.
So be it. I pray that your choices will not lead you to reckless acts. May R'hllor light your path through the shadows.
But we're starving, we are! Those bastards are just stupidly following orders.
We've had enough.
That's the truth of it. It's too much. There's no merchants, no more trade.
And up in the castle, those lords and ladies have it easy. Revolt is in the air.
Forgive my boldness, noble stranger, but I cannot let you walk into certain death like that.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not sure of the customs in the free cities nowadays, but I wouldn't dream of entering Wester's arm like that. And yet, as the smith labours day and night for us, it so happens that I sell the finest weapons. Blunt, cutting, perforating, you know what they say, my lord. Don't buy your blade until you know what you plan to stick it into.
Tell me more about cutting weapons.
The most popular. I know of no weapon passed down through families that is not a sword, my lord, and there are good reasons for that. Cutting weapons are especially designed to fight against light armor such as leather, and even the skin underneath. Do you need more information?
Tell me more about perforating weapons.
An enemy full of holes is considerably less frightening, isn't he? Piercing weapons are especially designed to fight against medium armor, such as chainmail. Do you need more information?
Tell me more about blunt weapons.
Ah, the pure power of a mace. Our good king would certainly approve. Blunt weapons are especially designed to fight against heavy armor such as plate. They crush it, can you see? Bam! Do you need more information?
I have things to do.
Don't hesitate to come back and see me in the Merchant Square. I weep to see you so ill-equipped in this town. And don't forget you'll be wanting armor. After all, no matter the weapon you face, simple clothes will not protect you.
Love each other and your parents consent, why wouldn't you marry?
Now that the old lord is in his tomb, we'll have a new lord. His son, Gawain.
So?
So I'd not be surprised if he wants to use his lord's right of the first night. I've seen how he stares at her ass when he comes down into the kitchens.
You're not wrong. Lord Reynold was content to leave us be. At least we didn't have him bothering us with all that business.
Arms for a poor man,
The Alester Sarwyck, son? Nah, couldn't be. We haven't seen him in 15 years.
One too many horns of ale today?
Halt, priest. This town is in mourning. Access to the castle is closed during the ceremony.
I'm actually here to attend Lord Sarwyck's burial.
I'm afraid that's not possible. I'm under strict orders to only allow entry to close kin. With the villagers' current grumblings, we don't want to risk problems.
Please call Maester Harwin.
The ceremony is about to begin. I doubt he'll come for a priest of R'hllor. John, go inform Maester Harwin and bring back Captain Ryman.
Good old Ryman, captain of the guard. Things certainly have changed in my absence.
What is going on here? Why has John gone for the Maester?
Ryman, it's me, Alester.
Several hells! Alester? Graydon, I told you only family. That excludes peasants, dogs, and cravens who abandon their families.
You blame me for leaving, but this is not the time for anger. I've come to bury my father, Ryman, not to fight with you. In honor of the past, allow me to go and pay him my respects.
Very well, you may go. Out of respect for your father.
Alester, I knew you would come.
Maester Harwin, it's a pleasure to see you again.
The pleasure is shared. 7 gods, you have changed so much. 15 years. I had help from my contacts in Bravos to inform you of your father's death. The funeral will be in the Godswood. The ceremony has already begun.
Why is it not held at the Sept?
It would be if it were not in ruins. River Spring is suffering on all fronts, I fear. Let us go now. Come with me, Alester. Let us speak as we walk.
What happened here, Maester? How could my father allow things to get to this point?
You know, after you left, Lord Reynold changed. He began to live more and more in the past, and stopped taking care of his duties. Your sister quickly found herself managing more than she should have.
Eliana helped my father govern?
Well, these last few months, she's practically run the house herself. In spite of her efforts, she was unable to slow the inevitable ruin of her lands without a lord. But all is not so dark. Many of your father's vassals remain faithful to their oath. They have all come to the burial in order to honor his memory. We will speak of all this again after the ceremony. Let us make haste, I beg of you.
Hello, Red Priest. I am Lady Eliana Sarwyck, daughter of the late Lord Sarwyck. You are just in time for the ceremony. Were you close to my father?
You have changed much in 15 years, little sister.
Alester, why have you returned? We don't need you here.
Harwin told me of father's death. It was my duty to come.
15 years without any news. And he had to die for us to see you again. You would have done better to stay where you were.
I do not doubt that my departure was difficult for you.
Difficult, to say the least. Your disappearance was our father's ruin. Do you know how long I cried after you left? And how long I hoped for news of you?
I am sorry. I left Westeros without once turning back, it's true. I understand your reaction. It must have been unbearable for you, but I had to leave. Know that I never forgot you.
That's easy for you to say. And you should know that we here learn to live very well without you.
I understand your reaction, Eliana.
I doubt it. Go pay your last respects to Father. We will speak later.
May the stranger, the eternal outcast, now guide you to the Father,
his example.
and may he judge you fair.
Who is that man?
I believe that is the elder Sarwyck, the one who disappeared. He has certainly changed, but I recognize him.
How could you desecrate our father's body that way?
I desecrated nothing. I performed the final kiss, the tribute that priests of R'hllor pay to the dead.
You may be a Red Priest, but you should respect the beliefs of Riverspring.
I did not intend to be disrespectful, little sister.
Do not think that it is easy for me to speak with you after all this time.
Please, Eliana, listen. I left Westeros without a goodbye, and you have every reason to be angry with me. 15 years ago, the war that King Robert Baratheon fought to claim the throne forced me to commit deeds which haunt me still. The very idea of returning to you was too painful. I did the only thing left for me to do. I left and began a new life elsewhere. Not long ago, I received a letter from Maester Harwin telling of Father's death. I could no longer hide myself. It was time to confront my past. What I regret the most, Eliana, is that by fleeing to the other side of the waters, it is you whom I wounded.
All these years, I have thrown a veil over your memory. And you return at the moment when everything is in turmoil. I must be alone for the moment. I will see you later, Alester.
Take your time, little sister. I understand.
Alester, Maester Harwin would like to speak with you. He awaits you in the castle courtyard. And if I may add, you should be ashamed of that kiss during the ceremony.
My thanks, Ravella. I shall go and see him.
I am not sure there is more to discuss between us, Alester. I am sincerely sorry for your loss. You know how much your father meant to me. Unless you are truly ready to listen to me, it would be best that you leave.
I knew you to be less ardent, Ravella.
And I knew you to be more respectful. This ceremony was held under the watch of the Seven, and your shameful act did nothing but needlessly shock and disgust decent people.
I am sorry, Septa. From now on, the rights of the Seven no longer concern me. I have chosen another path. Can you not see that you and all the lost souls of Westeros worship different rays of the same light? Your entire pantheon, your 7 gods. Do you not feel that they are just pieces of one whole, of something much bigger?
If you would listen to my lessons, you would know that for the sages, the 7 are but one. But in order to understand that, one must understand the full scope of their teachings. Perhaps it would be better to worship a simple wood fire like other Red Priests do. It's always easier to worship that which burns brightly.
The flame brings light and warmth. It is the source of life.
No doubt other creatures share your beliefs. Like those whores, for example. I've seen one of your kind in action. Thoros of Myr was his name. A fornicator and a drunk.
To err is to be human. Our order does not encourage lust, Ravella. But the pleasures of the flesh are not altogether forbidden, if they are carried out in an act of love. And I myself have seen fat septons give themselves over to drink. However, I don't judge all septons based on these rare cases.
I've heard it all. A heretic daring to judge a true believer?
I will not allow you to speak to me in this manner, Ravella. I respect your beliefs, and you will respect mine.
Forgive me, my lord. I forgot my place.
Your fervor does you credit, Ravella. You raised me, as you raised my brother and sister. But I cannot allow one of my subjects to show me disrespect. Do you understand?
Of course. I shall be careful in the future.
I don't doubt it.